Hey, it's Girl Camper Podcast time. I'm Lesa McDermott, the co-host of it. And on today's episode, we are welcoming Tony Barthel from Stressless Camping, and he's going to answer all of our questions about portable power stations. So stay tuned.
Well, Tony is one of my favorite people in the world. I'm so sorry that we don't have his better half, and he doesn't mind if we call Peggy the better half. He calls her the better half. His
Exactly.
better half, Peggy, with us. They are the dynamic duo. I love their podcast. I love their enthusiasm for everything, and he is the king of nerds. So he's going to be answering our questions today on portable power packs.
It's going to be great. So, isn't it nice to finally feel like spring is here? We just went through daylight savings.
Daylight saving time. Is there anything better than that Sunday night, 2 nights ago now, where it's 7 o'clock and the sun is still out? I mean, it just gives me such enthusiasm. And I'm only 3 weeks away from the kickoff camp out for the New Jersey girls. We're going to be camping the first weekend in April down at our favorite Spacious Skies Country Oaks. And we're getting the band back together. I mean, it's going to be so much fun. And we're all on Facebook talking about it. And I'm counting the seconds. I got my trailer dewinterized.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, it's just been fun to go over there, like cleaning out drawers and, taking my curtains down and washing them. Oh, can't wait.
That stuff is always so fun. Yeah, your little, you get your little home on wheels just how you want it, and I
Mhm.
can't wait. I don't have anything planned yet. Being in the mountains, we're still sketchy, and
Could
my
go either way
farrier
for
actually
you.
just
Yeah.
told me that March is usually one of the worst months, as far as weather goes, and I told her to bite her tongue. That's not gonna happen this year because
Yeah.
we need to make some camping plans and get out there, and I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it's around the corner. So we're going to be jumping off soon with all of our camping, and it's going to be so much fun to be on the podcast. And we're going to be doing some fun stuff too on the YouTube channel. Once we could get out there, and again, we're going to be doing some of our DIYs that we've done in the magazine. We're going to be doing demos of those. We're going to be making some of the bushcraft crafts that we always talk about in the magazine, and we're going to be posting those videos on there just for fun.
Yep, it's gonna be great. We're gonna amp up
Mhm.
our YouTube channel for sure, so
Yeah. Yeah.
well, let's dive in. First, we got to take a quick break for
Yep.
today's show sponsor, Progressive Insurance. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey, RVers! Any way you explore, explore protected with Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. They make it easy to quote, and the process takes as little as 4 minutes. Get a quote now. Insure your passion.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Girl Camper Podcast. Thank you, Progressive Insurance, for being one of our show sponsors today. Love having you guys on with us. And as a longtime Progressive Insurance person, we love having your coverage. So today we are going to have Tony Barthel on, who is half of the very popular Stressless Camping podcast. His better half, Peggy, is off with family, but we are so pleased to have Tony on because he is the king of nerds. And I'm saying that lovingly. And he's on to talk to us about something very nerdy, but also very, very important, I think. And something that he did a podcast on this on his own on Stressless Camping. And I absolutely learned a ton of stuff. And I begged Tony to come on and do one for us, mostly because I was tired of referring people to his podcast. So now we'll have our own episode.
There you go.
Can I say, Tony, in addition to being part of the better half of Peggy, you are also our RV guy at Girl Camper Magazine. You
Yeah.
do great reviews for us. We love having you as our RV expert. And it's one of the many, many things. You are a champion for this industry, for campers, for people who want to get out there and go places and do things. And gosh, we have all three of us been friends for, I hate to say how long, 10 years. I mean, long time.
Yeah, and
We're getting
it's
old
an
together.
honor. It's been an honor to be part of the Girl Camper family and camp together and just enjoy the company of girl campers. I really appreciate your letting me in. I think you had mentioned that my my better half, Peggy, isn't here, and I think if you look at the name of our present, Stressless Camping, I'm the stress, she's the less. So
I didn't want to say anything, but we all kind of know. Wink, wink.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, Peggy is
So
the best. And what Lisa said is 100% true. You're not just a great guy who loves this industry, you are a total nerd. You are the person who kind of breaks these things down for us, helps us to understand. And Lisa and I just want you to take us through. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa so she can pick the order in which we digest this, but we're so grateful.
today we are talking to Tony about portable power stations. Also kind of called portable solar units, would you say, Tony? Is that kind of one of the
and
other
some
names on them?
people call them solar generators. I have a bunch here to share, but I think some people call them solar generators, but they're really not a generator. They're what they really are is a battery and a way to take advantage of the power in the battery.
Right. And you've got a lot of great tips on what to think about when buying one. What features should you be looking for? How to source out how much you need? And how often will that, say, 1500 watt Jackery power your coffee pot each day? Which I thought
Yep.
was really great math. I had never thought about that before. So, Tony, I'm going to let you start with tell us about everything we should know that we don't know
Okay.
about portable power stations.
Well, I think a lot of people make this more complicated than it has to be. If you look at any electrical appliance, they all tell you on the back. I was going to have my induction cooker here and boil water while I did this, and I forgot. But they will tell you how many watts they consume. So, for example, our induction cooktop uses 1200 watts, and that uh, if you look at like at this Jackery that I have behind me, it's a 1500 watt uh, device. So 1200 watts, you could run it for an hour, right? So that's basically this is how many watts are inside this thing. That's a big oversimplification, but it gives you something to shoot for. Um, then I have, shoot, out of frame, this little U green, that's 1200 watts. I could kill that one running that induction cooktop. If you have, like, I think hair blowers, I wouldn't know much about that, but like a hair dryer, there a lot of them go up to 1800 watts. So you couldn't run that for an hour, but you may also exceed how much power one of these can provide because they also have limits of how much power. So I think that the first thing you might want to do is figure out what do I want to run and for how long. And that's then you can use that in watts and look at how many watts one of these portable power stations has. And I mean, you can get these things now big enough to run a camper. So there are sizes of all sorts of these things. I mean, we have these little teeny ones that we always have with us, and I like this because it charges a phone and it has a light and all of that. We have these medium-sized ones. And so the other thing, in addition to how much power you want to consume, is how are you going to recharge it? Now, of course, all
Mhm.
of them can be recharged by plugging it into the wall. But let's say you're camping or you want one of these for if the power goes out at your house to run the refrigerator, for example, whatever it is, then that becomes, well, how am I going to recharge it? And these little ones that I have all use USB-C to recharge. And that's, yeah, it's a pretty common thing. This U green that's out of the shot here uses standard connectors. And so then we're going to pick up this solar panel, and this is from Go Power. I think you've had Eva on the show.
We have,
Um,
yep.
Yeah, I have that
they're
same one you're showing.
Yeah, it's great. And one of the
Mhm.
things it uses standard connectors. if I can get this out. So it's a standard connector, and what I like about that Ugreen uh, portable power station is that it's just a standard connector. So I can use this uh, solar panel to charge up my trailer. You know, they all have that solar on the side. I can use it to charge up the portable power station or recharge phones and all of that. So I'm a big fan of standard connectors. Now, I
Mm.
believe Jackery has changed, but this is a Jackery panel, and they used to use proprietary connectors. And these are neat panels because they also will use USB to charge one of these things. But this connector is only a Jackery connector for the most part.
Mm.
And so I
Wait,
like,
hold on 1 second on that. But okay, so we've all been in that boat with like an iPhone or something. Is there a
yeah,
device that's made to standardize that so you can plug it
I
in with what
quit
you have?
I quit looking because I got
Mm,
other portable power stations, but when I looked last, I didn't see them. I also
mhm.
believe now Jackery has changed that. So I would look and just see what type of connectors, because you know, the more places you can use your panels and your portable power station, the better, right? I mean, it's if you
Mhm.
have it only, like you said, with the old iPhones, it was that connector that was only iPhones. Well, that was inconvenient. I mean, yeah, it worked well. And the funny thing is, the people from Jackery started out at Apple. So
They took that lesson with them. Let's make
yeah,
everybody buy every adapter they I, yeah,
yep.
that's annoying.
So the
Mhm.
third thing to consider is what type of battery and charger are in these. And you don't have to know a whole lot about this, but if you see some of these, again, I'm gonna fault my old Jackery here. That only was good for about 500 cycles, which is really a good amount of time. But the other one that I have, and that one is good for, I think, over 3,000 cycles. And it
Mm,
also uses a better charge system, so I can both charge it and use it at the same time. So if, let's say, the power is out and I'm using it to run my refrigerator in my house or things in the RV or tent camping, uh, I can use the solar panels, charge the thing, and use it at the same time. So those are the things I would look at: is how many cycles do they say uh, this device is good for? Typically, a really good system is going to be about 3,000. What are the connectors? Are they just standard connectors? And
mhm,
then how much power do you need? And of
mhm.
course, you could be a Tony and go, well, how much can I get?
I was just thinking that about you.
Yeah,
I
like,
want it all.
hmm.
So
Well,
let
I
me
was
ask you a question about the
sure.
cycles. So 3,000 seems like a lot of cycles. I mean, how many times a year are we actually going to be using it? That's like 10 years worth of cycles.
Oh, yeah, and it's not so much the number of cycles, although, of course, that's a factor. It's more the battery chemistry. The better battery chemistry just
Hmm.
is able to be used more, is be able to take more of those full charge, discharge cycles, and
Hmm.
that's why I like looking at that number. It's kind of a tell on how well this thing is designed.
Should consumers be asking how long it takes to bring that battery back up to speed?
Yes, absolutely. And how, right? So, for example, this I should get that other one, but that one has a fast charge cycle, and I can bring it from a dead, through a wall outlet to, I think, 75% in an hour. And so
Wow.
it does have the opportunity to do fast charge. Now, of course, it's sucking power out of the wall like mad, but that's that's another factor is, how long does it take for the solar panels or the wall outlet to charge these things?
Is the
So,
solar, I'm guessing here, and not a nerd like you, I would think the wall recharge is going to be faster than the solar.
well, it
Unless you're in
probably.
Arizona like you on a sunny day like today.
Well, and I mean, how many solar panels do you have, right? I mean, the more
Mhm.
panels, like some of these, I've got a ton of these Go Power panels, and so I can string on one of these, I can string 4 of them together, and then it takes about half a day to recharge the
Mhm.
1,500-watt, uh, power station.
I think that's a really good point because when Janine and I have done some of our outdoor adventures like rafting and stuff, people
Mhm.
bring along these little tiny solar panels. Like this is one that, is kind of made for strapping on the back of a backpack. And this is actually a bigger one that we see. Yeah, like that
Mhm.
one. Um, or you see some that are just built into the unit. That's not a lot of space to capture power from. I mean, these aren't
No.
huge. These are going to have to be out in the
Mhm.
sun quite a long time
Yeah,
to bring something back up to full power.
yeah, well, I mean, you look at, like, this little one, if you're watching,
Mhm.
it came with this Lion Energy that I use for phones and that kinda stuff, and it's 10 watts. So it's not a whole lot, and that's compared to the Go Power panel that's 100. So,
Mhm.
it's literally 10 times as much.
Yeah, that makes a
But
big difference.
but again, if you're only charging phones, maybe it's sufficient.
Well, Lisa, you're a
Mhm.
boondocker, Lisa. What do you have and what do you use it for? Like why do you carry yours with you?
So, I have a Jackery, which, after hearing Tony's, good
Mhm.
podcast on it and learning about the proprietary hookups and the limited rechargeability, um, really made me think, yeah, I should have maybe searched around, but I got a great deal on that during COVID, so it's been good for me. I hardly use it. Um, sorry, the cat. It's just
She's our
her.
company cat.
Yeah, she's
She's
just
our mascot at Girl Camper.
she's
The
something.
podcast wouldn't be complete without her going by.
She's so naughty right now.
Yeah, she knows mom's
She
at work.
knows you're recording.
Yeah, she does. Um, so you were asking me, Janine, you're like, what do I use it for? And I do a lot of boondocking. Now my camper is fully solar. I've got
Mhm.
overkill on it with 400-watt solar panels. I've got a 300 amp hour lithium battery, all complements of Go Power Solar. But if I didn't have all of those for recharging my Jackery, I would probably be going to somewhere where I can plug it in to get it recharged in a much faster
Mhm.
way than off of solar panels, because I don't have any portable solar panels anymore for that. The only ones I do have would be like for hiking, and
Right.
I honestly don't even carry these anymore, except maybe on our river trips because of
Or
the
maybe this year when you do your big hike, you'll take
no,
it.
because of the weight. I won't be
Oh, it's
taking them
heavy.
at all.
Okay.
I will be taking a 20,000 amp hour, I think, little polar charger pack that I can recharge my iPhone and my Apple Watch up to 3 times before this is completely drained. And then I also have a um, uh, oh, what do you call them, Tony? That makes it go faster.
Oh, like a booster of some sort?
Yeah, so this
Thank
is
you.
something, and it's special. It's the thing you plug into the wall outlet, and it will rapid charge. It's a rapid
Oh,
charger.
okay.
Okay.
So
Does it
it
make
allows me to fully recharge this back in about an hour somewhere.
is it
So as we're on the trail, when we hit power somewhere, I can plug it in,
If
get
you
a
hit a
quick
pound, yeah,
yep for like 20 minutes, and it should be at
bring it
least
up.
boosted back up for a few more days. So yeah, yeah.
Well, I have a Jackery, which, like Lisa, I bought during COVID, and it was a Prime Day special. It was like $700, and it was on a Prime special for like 410, and I like got in a panic, like I gotta get it. I literally have never used it camping, but I have had to use it at home quite a bit. The
yeah,
development I live in loses power frequently. And so I love it when we can have a product that we can use camping, but it makes sense at home as well. It does double duty. Tony, you were sharing with us before about your sister in
yeah,
California and the rolling blackouts there.
yeah, and she uses a medical device to basically, help her out, And so she has one of these. I sent one of these to her for running that when the power goes out.
Mhm.
And that's another thing, there are a lot of people who may like to boondock, and you might run a CPAP overnight. So you
Mhm.
can see how much power that how much power that takes, and then get a portable power station that could accommodate that, so that you don't have to worry about plugins or hookups. You can just
Mhm.
run off one of these.
Well, Tony, you've given us great stuff so far. We're going to take a little commercial break and talk to our friends from Lippert. But when we come back, I would love it if you could walk us through like the outputs that are available on your machine and what you might use them for in different scenarios. And so we're going to be right back after this word from our friends at Lippert.
Make it a trip to remember and leave your worries behind. The Rockerball Trailer Ball is built to get you and your loved ones there comfortably and safely. Its dynamic cushion technology is proven to reduce jerking, jarring, and road noise, giving you the control and confidence to enjoy every mile along the way. Pass on the spirit of adventure with a Curt Rockerball.
Welcome back, everybody, and we want to thank our friends at Lippert. They have some great products coming out, and we have loved working with them. So thank you, Lippert, for all your support for girl campers, keeping us safe on the road while we go places and do things.
I got to, speaking of Lippert, I got to, at their request, ride in some fifth wheels on a test track to experience new suspension technology that they have. That was eye opening. They just are really doing some incredible stuff there. So,
We got to do the analog brake system.
so you were there too. Okay, wasn't
Mhm.
that something? I mean,
That
holy
was
smokes!
very cool and a little scary because you're on this wet track, right? And they're picking up speed with this giant fifth wheel. And I mean, when I say he slammed on the brakes, and you're like holding on in the back seat, and that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, Peggy was
Mhm.
worried that the fifth wheel was gonna keep going, and she was sat in the back seat, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want this thing to, take my head off." But it didn't. It worked great. So,
I took the back seat as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Tony, when you get one of these portable charging units, there's a lot of outputs on them. So, talk about the different kinds of outputs that are on them.
Okay. I'm gonna start with this little one because this one does some stuff that the other ones I have don't. It's got an induction charger. Do I have it upside down? Of course I do. It's got
Mhm.
an induction charger, so you can put your phone on at night, or if you have
Oh,
a
cool.
watch, and it'll charge it that way. So if that's something that's important to you, uh, this will recharge my phone, I think 5 times, something like that.
Hmm.
And then it also has two USB A's, a USB C, and then a regular old USB 2. And most of these things now have lights. This has
Hmm.
like a little light in the front, but for camping, I won't shine this right in the camera, but it does. Whoops.
The
I may have.
emergency flasher.
Yeah, I was. Well, it also does just a big bright light, which of course I can't get. Oh, there we go. I anyway, the whole front basically is a light, and yeah, it'll do the emergency flasher thing. But this is a pretty good light for camping. So if
And how
that's
many
important
watts
to
is
you,
that little? Lisa, those look like
it's
the ones we took on the river last year.
They could be, yeah. Who makes that one,
Mine is
Tony?
orange.
it's Lion. It's 20,000 milliamp hours,
Okay.
which is I think pretty common for these smaller ones.
Lion
But
Energy. Okay.
yeah, I they've been doing some good stuff. We bought 2 of these at the Quartzsite show for $60. I couldn't not buy it. So, it was a smoking deal. And then a little bit bigger, this one will run my laptop most of a day, and it's got, uh, household 120 volt outlet, just a typical
Mhm.
wall plug type of thing. And then of course this one has, I still call this a cigarette lighter,
It
but
is a
I haven't.
cigarette lighter.
It is, right? But they call it a charge port or whatever.
Mhm.
Nothing is what it used to be called when I was a kid. So
Mhm.
there you go. And then USB-A and two USB-Cs. And this has a higher output USB-C, so I can actually run my laptop on this,
And
which I
does
think
that
is
one
kind of cool.
only recharge in the wall, or does that have a solar?
It has, you can charge this with solar, and you can use this. Oddly enough, it
Mhm.
uses a similar plug to the Jackeries, but you can also charge it with the USB-C and a solar panel. So if you have
And
a,
you can charge it in your car. You can
yeah, oh
plug
yeah,
in the
yeah,
yeah, while you're driving in your car, it's charging off your car battery.
correct. In fact, I use this one a lot when I go to Costco and I
Mhm.
bring a 12-volt cooler. And, inevitably, you're at Costco and you're like, "Oh, well, I'm out. I've been released from captivity, and I'm gonna go not only to Costco, but I'm gonna go to the Apple Store and Trader Joe's and blah, blah, blah." And so I have the 12-volt cooler in the back of the truck so that, all those frozen stuff I bought at Costco doesn't thaw. So that's something I've used this for too.
That is so
And
smart. I mean, for someone like me that's, the grocery store, we have a little one here in town, but we really do a lot of our shopping an hour away. So
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
for both of
12-volt
you.
cooler.
I mean, that stuff is very close to me, but when I'm at Lisa's house and you go into the little grocery store in Custer and it's $10 for a 6-pack of Gatorade, you're like, "What?"
Although you have that German restaurant with the cake.
Yes, the Alpine Inn, good
Yeah.
German
So,
restaurant.
yes. So then this one, which I've been pointing at and is now in camera, has two USB-Cs, two USB-As. It also has a cigarette lighter adapter. This one you can charge a multiple of ways. You can use solar. You can obviously plug it into the wall, and it has its own wall plug. Um, and then on this side are six power outlets. And this one we took tent camp. We we have so much overlanding gear that we thought, hey, let's try tent camping. And I took this to power the cooler for the weekend. I also used this to power my induction cooktop. So I never had to light a fire for cooking, and I was able to, heat up spam and make
Mhm.
coffee. That's always the critical thing, right? You got to make coffee.
Coffee.
Um, and then I I brought my pellet smoker, and I used this to run the pellet smoker. I can share a picture of that if you want, but so
You
that's
are a
this is
gadget
a
guy,
large.
Tony.
I it's we have a whole garage here full of RV stuff that,
This is why we're
yeah, it's
friends.
Yeah, Lisa is in fact, let me see if I can reach it. Hold on.
I think one thing too we need to we've kind of hinted on, but when something is putting out heat, like you said, the hair dryer, the coffee pot, the induction, they take a lot more power than you're recharging your cell phone.
oh yeah. Changing changing temperatures um is always a huge power draw, and that's why like an air conditioner or a
Mhm.
portable heater, you really wouldn't want to run those off one of these portable power stations. Although we had just talked about Lippert, and they have a new air conditioner coming out that is remarkably efficient. So
I hope it's quiet. This is what Lisa gave me for Christmas. All the things I borrow from her. So I'm always like, my phone is dying, my phone is dying, and because of the life cycle of the battery, mine is exceeded its thing, and I just need to replace it. But I have used this so many times. So I keep this in my purse, and your phone just goes right on it, and it does that automatic charging, and it charges up really fast, and it also has a light on it. So very cool little gadget.
Yeah, that's like I said, this one, that's a bit essentially what I use this
Hmm.
for too. Same purpose. So, but that's the thing. I mean, I think the bottom line is determine what you want to power and shop accordingly. And then if you have standard connectors and a high quality product, you should be okay. It doesn't hurt to buy bigger than you need, but that's the
Yeah.
Tony in me, right? So
With you on that one, Tony. So I think for our audience today, you just gave us some great takeaways. Like first of all, like determine what it is you're going to need it for, but then just go a little bigger. Like for me, if I lost power, I'd have to have the coffee. Like that
right,
would be
of course.
essential. But to be able to run a portable fan to charge your phone, I mean, I wouldn't care about what's in the fridge. I would just want to have those things covered.
I think you need to think in too, factoring in the weight of the unit. You don't want to get something that's too heavy and too cumbersome that you can't, move it yourself, so
Yeah, I mean, I at Quartzsite we saw there's another one from Lion where it's 2 units. There's a main unit and a battery backup. That thing will run your RV, but get a buddy to help you lift the thing.
yeah, yeah.
I find that a 500-watt Jackery is heavy.
Yeah, I mean they're not super light, but
Hmm.
it just depends on what you want to do with it.
And
And
many of them can be piggybacked. So if you're using the same brand, some of them have the ability to be piggybacked. So you could take two 500s and make it 1,000 by a connecting cable.
yeah, in a few cases, yeah, and that
Hmm.
would be nice because then each unit is lighter, or you could maybe take it outside and
Hmm.
solar charge it or something like that. I don't think that's a common feature, but you're right, it is a feature in some of them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Tony, are there any storing or maintenance tips that you have for people?
Lithium likes to be stored full, and most of these have some form of lithium battery. So I keep it fully charged, and that it tends to last longer that way. And as with any lithium battery, you can't typically charge these below freezing, and they don't like to be super hot. But that's that. They're a good quality unit will have what keeps the lithium batteries from being explodey basically is what's called a battery management system, and most of these name brand ones have a pretty good battery management system. So, but store them full is probably optimal.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Tony, so much for coming on today. We
Always
learned
learn a lot.
so much. Yeah, we really appreciate it. This was really helpful. And
And we miss Peggy, so tell her that next time we all get together, we'll have her on too.
Oh, she would love this. She was all sad, except she's with her family, so they're having a good time. But she was disappointed that she wasn't able to be here. But
Yeah, if she had been out on the Costco run instead of that would have been sad, but yeah.
right,
Well, Tony,
yeah.
we love seeing you. Thanks for all of the great work you contribute to Girl Camper with your RV reviews in the magazine and all the expertise you've given us over the years. We just love you being our resident nerd.
Well, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate being allowed in to such an auspicious club.
Usually it's no boys allowed at our campfire, but you're the exception.
mhm.
And I do my best to be on my best behavior.
You blend. You stay under the radar because a couple boys have gotten in trouble over there by being
Oh
too
yeah.
loud. Yeah, yeah. No, no, we're not trying to hold anybody down. You've got great information, and we so appreciate you sharing it with us.
Well,
We
I
do.
like being nerdy. I like this nerdy stuff, and I have some ability to translate from nerd to normal. At least I hope so.
All right, my friends. Well, thank you.
No, I was gonna say, Tony, tell everybody where they can find you and Peggy.
Oh, you can find us at Stressless Camping. So wherever you are on the internet, on social media, whatever, just look for Stressless Camping and bing, bang, boom, there will be.
Perfect. So
And you know what I do all the time? If I have a question about something, I just go into YouTube and I go stressless camping, portable power packs, and that's how I find your topic. I'm not a good scroller. I just go right to it. So your SEOs are good,
That
buddy.
works. I do what I can.
Okay. Well, thank you and have a great day there in the sunshine.
I appreciate being here, and always a good time spending time with you both.
Aw.
That was such a great podcast with Tony. I love having him on, even if we don't have Peggy, who we also adore. But he really gave us a lot of great information about portable power units, things
Yeah.
to think about before you buy one. How much do you need? Is power, hookups, all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate him coming on.
Has that gift of like simplifying and breaking down things. I'm always mystified by these things, but Tony's blog is very user friendly. So if you haven't done that, head over to stresslesscamping.com. Check them out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow at Girl Camper. Go to girlcamper.com. Get vetted and join us on one of our trips.
Yes.
We've got a YouTube channel, we've got a website, we've got a great Instagram following, and we've got our lovely, lovely Facebook group with 400,000 members in our community. And then, whatever state you live in, chances are high there's a Girl Camper page for your state. So come on, join the fun.
And if you want to come to a Girl Camper event, but there might not be one in your area, that's okay. Think about hosting one for us. If you're interested, send us an email at events@girlcamper.com.
Because we like to learn where everybody's favorite parks are. So be a good girl and share.
Exactly. Yep. So until next week, I'm Lesa McDermott.
I'm Janine Pettit.
We'll catch you by the
Happy trail.
campfire.
Bye bye.
Bye.